My name's Sean Varro. I'm the singer and guitar player in Wide Mouth Mason, a band I started with my friend Safwan as Wide Mouth Mason in about 1995, maybe, but we've been playing together since we were 10 years old with acoustic guitars and pots and pans.
And I'm Safwan Javed, also of Wide Mouth Mason, and I play drums and sing in the background a bit. And I coincidentally also started playing with Sean when I was about 10 years old on pots and pans.
All right, so we won't say any ages or anything here, but yes, you guys have been playing together for quite some time.
Just a little while ago.
Yeah, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
You guys are local to Canada, Saskatoon area, is that right?
Yeah, originally started the band in Saskatoon, lived in Saskatoon for most of our lives, still, I guess, at this point. We've both moved to different cities for our families and things, but originally from Saskatoon, feel like we flag the Scotch flag or fly the Scotch flag anywhere that we go, and it's still a big part of us. And I feel like in the last 2 years, we've maybe played more shows in Saskatoon and Regina than and Humboldt. Have there been other sketch? We've done more Saskatchewan shows in the last couple of years than many years combined leading up to then. Whether it was in festivals, things by the Besbro in Saskatoon, club shows. So we have stayed deeply in touch with our roots.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a nice Saskatchewan love-in going on right now, which we're very happy about.
Yeah, there's it seems like almost this resurrection of like Canadian music, and I feel like it's doing great things for people that might not be familiar with a lot of Canadian music. So I know like I recently interviewed Big Rec, and like it's just to be able to listen to that Canadian music that was from say the 90s. It's like, man, it's still making music. Like you guys still exist. You're still making music. You didn't like just make one album and disappear. So it's really cool to see that these Canadian bands are still out there, still doing what they love, and still, making radio plays. So I think that's really cool.
We are so grateful now. We probably spend as long after the show meeting people, hanging out and chatting, and people come buy records or come tell us a story, and the number of people now coming up going, "Hey, so this is my husband, and we met 25 years ago at your show." And we've been fans ever since. And now this is our kid, and they play drums or guitar, and now they're old enough to come to the show. Is we realize that this thing that we've been fortunate enough to do has been interwoven into people's lives now for a lifetime. And when we get to talk to people after and they say, yeah, I picked up the first record, or I got Big Shiny Tunes too, and my old self was on it. But I either saw some videos that reminded me, or you played a festival like Living Skies that put you in front of me again, or I checked out the most recent couple records, and turns out I still like your band. Those have been really amazing moments for us to again go back to the gratitude of feeling like we've been able to do this for decades, particularly playing around Canada. I feel like we've been in 3 or 4 different music businesses in that time, but the one thing that's remained constant is when we get up and play in front of people and have that communication, that collaboration that produces this moment while we're playing and these people are responding maybe to songs that they've known since they were in high school, and maybe new ones that they're just discovering in a world as it is, to have these pockets of joy and music and celebration and togetherness is hugely important to us. Always has been, but I think is feeling even more important now.
Um, when you guys first got together, you said like, you've known each other for many years. What was the driving factor for you guys to be like, you know what, let's make let's make this our career? Was it something you guys, planned to do from the beginning, or was it like, hey, we fell into this and now we're playing on these stages that we never thought we'd be playing on?
Sean has long said it, and I actually was just telling my kids this the other day about Uncle Sean, that regardless of what journey his life took him on, he'd be making music, he'd be playing guitar, and he'd be singing, because that's just at the core of who he is. And I think, my dad once said this to me too, because you go through your adolescence and your young adulthood, and you're trying different hats on in terms of shaping your identity. And he's like, the one constant that you've had is that you've played drums. There's things that come and go in your life where suddenly you're super interested in a martial art, or you're really interested in something else, a particular type of studies. But those always tend to go away with you. But the one thing that you've been doing as long as I've known you is playing drums. And when you get to do those things with someone who effectively is like a brother, that becomes your chosen family, where there's such a strong friendship and bond and joy that comes from doing it. You do it. You're going to do that over and over again. You're going to keep going back to it. The rest of it is just gravy, and we're super thankful, like Sean said, that it went the way it went. But we would have been doing it regardless. So to answer your question, I think we kind of fell into it. It wasn't a, hey, let's do this as our career.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sometimes you have to just jump and then find a net afterwards. And we knew we loved playing music. We knew there were people from Saskatoon, whether it was the Northern Pikes or before that Joni Mitchell, who'd been able to do it. But when we were coming up, it was like new country was really super hot. And that was really anyone who our parents had heard of or that we knew of from Saskatoon that was doing anything was like, you just kind of, maybe you'll be a side guy in a country band. And we're like, well, we have this thing we do. Let's just see how far we can take it. It might end after a summer, it might end after a year, but let's just see what can happen. And I think for our band, almost every good thing came as a result of someone seeing us play live. There were managers making deals and record labels and agents and the business thing whirring in the background. But for instance, like we played in Saskatoon, our manager just went after Gordy from Big Sugar, going, you need to see my band play. They're the opening band early in the day, but I won't leave you alone until you see them. And he relented and saw us and went, what are they doing for the next couple of months? Maybe they should open our tour across the country. And a similar thing happened with, for opening for the Rolling Stones. That was a huge break for us, where something happened, their original opener couldn't do it. They knew about us from us playing shows. So much has come back to us from just being out there playing in front of people, that it's the thing that continues to drive the band forward.
Yeah, and you're talking about opening for different bands. You guys have had many opportunities to open for some, big name recognizable bands. And, coming from humble roots, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, I think that's, a pretty awesome opportunity for you guys. And one thing that you said is like it was country. Like any group that I know of that's, come out of Saskatchewan, they turn country, whether that's what they wanted to do in the beginning or not. That's what they end up doing because they want to be able to do music, and country is where it's at. But you guys have been able to stay true to, what you guys started out as, and the influences that you had in your music. So I think that's also a really huge accomplishment, as well as being able to stay true to like what you guys set out to do.
Thank you, Sarah.
So talk a little bit about those influences, I guess. What can people expect coming out to the show, coming up here in June 28th, 29th?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to fit everything as we keep making records into a set, especially where we're opening, and I think we play for an hour or 45 minutes or an hour or something. So we have a mix of the newest stuff that we've made and the very first song on our very first record, and kind of everything in between. And there's some parts that we're like, people know this song from the record and they've heard it on the radio. Let's stay true to that and play it like that. And there are other songs that are kind of jumping off points for us to improvise and really respond to what the people are like, what the situation is like, what feels like the right thing that should happen. So if people like, you know, guitar and rhythm driven rock from some guys who grew up loving Hendrix and the Police and Prince and Led Zeppelin, and what I would say is that people who know our band from before, just listening to them, have said that, you know, you guys sound like you can play and sing like you did back in the day. You just have grown as songwriters and have much more that we didn't even know of in your catalog to check out. So we'll try and represent a little bit of everything, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great. So like random question for you guys. Favorite instrument and why?
Other than what we play?
Oh, it can be what you play if that's your favorite.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, if you say oboe, I might question things, but
And there's some badass oboe players out there. Wow, that's tough, man. If it's in like the Western rock world, I'm gonna say bass guitar. That's always a thing. I'm like, man, I wish I could play bass because I'd like to be a dude that holds my bass down like below my knee. So really, that's just for looks. And if it's like global, then I'm gonna say the tablas. They're a South Asian set of drums, and they're played with the fingers and hands, and they're pretty spectacular when you see a master play them.
that's cool. What about you, Sean?
I've in the last few years I've been taking on more instruments to play, whether it was, you know, getting at home on banjo or mandolin and those types of things. So I would just put on my wish list of I'd always love to learn how to play the cello. I think playing slide is kind of similar in that there aren't frets, so you have to rely on your ears and your muscle memory to play in tune. But I love the sound it makes, and I think I might be ready to pick up a cello next.
Interesting. Okay. Personally, I had bought myself a violin years ago because I was like, I want to learn to play violin. I got it signed by one of Canada's like greatest violin players. He came and did a show here in Humboldt, and it sits in my closet. So hopefully, if you start the cello, that's not. Yeah, that's why. um, I find it very interesting. You guys picked instruments, like you said, that you don't necessarily play. So then if you were to pick your favorite instrument that you currently play, do you have a specific brand that you are very attached to?
I think as you get older, you start. I think when I was younger, I would have had an answer for you. Now I'm like, nah. There's it's like anything, right? There's good versions of pretty much every brand out there. There's some exceptions to that statement.
And if you don't have to haul your own drum kit around, it's always nice.
That's my game. That's been my game for the last 15 years. It's like I just want to show up, and part of the challenge is whatever is there, let's make this work.
Yeah.
Sure. Sean, I was going to say you might be a little bit more attached to a guitar, though. I have a feeling.
I mean, I am. There are, you know, settling on one would mean I can't enable myself to buy multiple ones because I need them for specific things. This red one does a thing that the yellow one, just like it, can't do. But I mean, I think I have such an appreciation for the guitar community, whether it's, you know, classics that have remained basically unchanged since they started getting made in the 50s, whether that's a Fender Telecaster or Stratocaster or then over time, you know, luthiers and artisan builders. I play a resonator guitar, like with the hubcap in the middle of it with things that vibrate underneath, that was handmade by a team in Saginaw, Michigan called Mule Resophonic Guitars. And in that guitar, I know they sent me pictures of it while they were making it for me with my name written in the back. And so much thought and care has been put into every piece of it, that things like that really amaze me, and I appreciate it on that level beyond just being an instrument that sounds great that I get to play.
Awesome. And you guys have a bass player as well, is that right?
We
And
do, yeah. It won't just
what's
be
their
the
name?
two of us up there.
Is it just the two of you coming, or is he coming too?
No, he'll be
No,
coming
he's
too.
coming.
So, when Earl originally left the band in 2010 or so, for a while, Gordy from Big Sugar played bass with us, and then we've had different people play on the road. But for the last few years, we've had Reed Shimizawa. And for a while, we had Darren Paris playing with us, and now Reed Shimizawa is playing with us. People who do know the 90s rock will remember the band Zucker Baby, and he was in that band, plays with Kyle McKierney and One Bad Son and a bunch of people, but we've been lucky to have him as our bass player for maybe 4 years or so. So yes, there will be 3 of us on stage.
And also local to Saskatchewan, right?
He's in Alberta.
Alberta.
He's from Calgary via Lethbridge.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I know like One Bad Son has played a few things local to us, I guess. So
Yeah.
cool. Okay, well, I don't really have any other questions. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about that I didn't ask you about, or?
I think you covered.
I think he covered it. Yeah, we're excited to come back. I lived in Humboldt when I was in kindergarten and a little bit before, and my dad was the chef at the Bella Vista.
Really?
So yeah, so I'm excited to come back. We played on the crop check-in tour in Humboldt, which was probably now 10 years ago or something, but we've
more than 10 years ago.
Probably. So we've been maybe once since I used to live there, but I'm looking forward to coming back. And yeah, I think if what we run into a lot when people are coming to see us at these things is going, I didn't know about the last few records, and I picked them up, and actually they're quite good. So excited to not only play the ones that people know, but play ones from the last couple of records that may have gone under their radar with the pandemic happening and with all that. So yeah, other than that, great question, Sarah. I think we covered a lot of things.